What's going on, guys? How are we doing today? Today's video, I want to go take some time and talk about some more ships and what the ship meta in GAC kind of looks like right now, and like what the best way to go about it is. Not just setting a crappy defense and maxing on banners, but a good mix of the two, like a good in between. And that's like the most important thing right now, is with these new ships that we've gotten recently, and also with this new TIE Interceptor, there is going to be a lot to keep in mind, and a lot of things that you might want to keep in mind for farming, not just for, you know, defenses, but also offense. There's a lot of different things you want to have. So first things first, let's go over some of what we currently have in fleet. So I mean, there's there's currently 9 different capital ships. So out of these 9, there's probably about half of them that are even really. Actually, now I think about it, there's actually going to be a lot more than half that are really good. So, like, beforehand, Chimera and even the Executrix for the Empire, they were kind of so-so. They weren't, like, awesome. They weren't, like, crappy. They were a good middle ground. I'd say, in terms of fleet, they are, like, the most evenly balanced one, I guess you could say. I don't know, whatever you want to say. They're just mid-tier, I guess you could say. But now with the, let's just go over to the faction. But now with this TIE Interceptor, this kind of elevates it to a whole nother level. So currently right now with a 3-star, or rather a non-7-star ship, but like a 7-star relicked up second sister, this can do some big damage. You can easily kill Negotiators, kill some Malevolences, pretty much everything besides, I would say, Executor. Those are still a little bit tricky, but I dare say that once we get them all maxed out for the ship star and also the character star with relics, this would be a scary, scary fleet. It already is pretty dang good. I gotta say, though, this in terms of me looking at footage and just seeing all the different top-end GAC players, it seems to be more of an offensive fleet than anything else, which is not bad. I think the way you play around with like a Chimera is it's definitely more offense-focused. Not to say it's not bad with Executrix, but I just think it shines a little bit more with Chimera. You might have some success using that on defense, though, with Executrix because there's more AoEs and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, this whole ship in this fleet with Empire is going to be very, very good. So that's one I wanted to touch up on right now, was the counter there to kill some Negotiators. I think that's pretty big, actually, because right now you see currently a lot of Executors on defense, but also you see some of those Negotiators with 5s, or not 5s, with the Y-Wing with Anakin's ETA, and then you also see that new Imperial Bomber. Not new, but it's a new comp that people like to use to stop some of those rebels, which is good, but I gotta say, that Empire team, it just destroys Negotiator, whether you got that or not in it, with the Empire Bomber. It's crazy good. So that's one I would get. In terms of using it right now, if you guys are curious what it kind of looks like without a 7-star second sister, like a 3-star Gear 11, you can do some work, but I wouldn't guarantee killing a Negotiator right now if you don't have her 7-star for the pilot. Okay, so we got that out of the way. What else is awesome right now? Well, Malevolence is still awesome against the Executor, but the AI change with the Executor kind of throws off a little bit. Currently, right now, I don't recommend it for myself and what I have currently to use against some of those Executors with using my Malevolence fleet. And that's because my Geos are Gear 12 still. I just don't find it very reliable with having these guys at Gear 12. I feel like in the Malevolence counter to that Bounty Hunter fleet, you need to have some relics on these other pilots. I think it's a required thing at this point in ships and for fleet, for GAC. So, I mean, it's good, but I think you need some relics. Otherwise, if you're not using that, and like what I like to do right now is to use kind of like a mirror match. I know this might seem a little bit dumb, but I do like, for the time being, since I don't have the Malevolence built up that good with my relics on my Geos, I just do a mirror match, and I do get pretty much pretty much max banners. It's close to max, 75, 76. And that way, I just know I get a guaranteed win with full banners against the toughest team in fleet. And then I still set a decent defense. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that's kind of how I deal with the Executor right now. Then also, the next point would be Finalizer. So Finalizer is probably one of the hottest ships right now. hottest fleets right now in the game. So it's Hux's capital ship. And I would say most people already have this guy like built up quite well. The only thing would be this new echelon that is just kind of come out recently. So in terms of the echelon, if you want to make this not a guaranteed win, but a lot more consistent than a malevolence, which I still think it is, you would need to have bare minimum for that to be consistent. You need a 5-star echelon with, I would say, keep the pilot officer at relic 5, but you got to get 60 mods on him. For the silencer, get him at relic 7 for crew, but also 60 mods there. And then for Hux, you might want to get a relic 7 Hux to help a little bit more with those extra stats. And also, again, 6E mods. So that's if you have them at a 5-star count for the echelon. Otherwise, if you have a 7-star, it won't matter as much. So that fleet's amazing, though, because you can get close to max banner for the win, and you're not using a mirror match like I would be using. And then also, you can keep your own Executor on defense, which is huge in and of itself. So that's one awesome way to utilize this fleet. I still think it's one of the best right now in terms of offense. I wouldn't use as much on defense. It's ridiculous how much use just that one tank the echelon provides for this entire team. It's ridiculous. I am almost on the fence about whaling on just for 5-star because it's that good. So if you see me with a 5-star, you know I wailed on it. Otherwise, other teams we got here. We got, of course, the Negotiator. The Negotiator is still awesome. I mean, it's a great offensive or defensive fleet. You can go either way about it. My current setup is doing, like I said, the mirror match for the Executor, and I like to keep Negotiator. So I set Malevolence and I set Chimera. It's not too bad, but it definitely is not ideal. But, of course, Negotiator is Negotiator. And then I would say Rebels is right after those couple of fleets. This guy can still kill a lot of stuff on offense. I would not set this on defense still, but this can definitely still kill some of those Negotiators, which is definitely nice. And oftentimes it can kill the Executor team comps that do not have Exanu Blood in the starting lineup, and it has IG 2000. That's a great counter right there. Besides that, for fleets, Radis is honestly now, even with that new ship, it's kind of still left out in left field. It's not going to be that great, even with this new ship. It might be a good defensive fleet. We don't even know. I've never seen anybody testing on defense. I still feel like it would just get throttled anyways. Offense, not really going to do much for you in terms of countering some of those more important teams. It does pretty much the exact same thing as it does before we got this new tank added into the game. So what does that do, or what does this team do these days? Well, it's more of a cleanup team if you need it for a cleanup team. You're not going to be really one-shotting any fleets with this team. It's definitely more of a cleanup, I'd say, or a filler for defense if you need it to be that for you. It doesn't really do much, though, I got to say. It's a little bit of a letdown in terms of the new tanks that we got for both factions, the Resistance and the First Order. And then, of course, we have the last but not least, Endurance. This ship is still trash. Don't bother, even with the new Mace rework and the extra stats you might get. It's still not there because you're pulling away those really important characters from the Negotiator fleet. So for the time being, I wouldn't bother with that ship. Just don't even touch it, okay? So, a little bit of recap before I hop off. What's really good right now for GAC, let's kind of focus more there right now, is Finalizer. Finalizer is definitely top dog for fleet offenses. It can kill Negotiators, it can kill Endurance, it can kill Malevolences, it can kill some of those home ones. Empire, Executor, which is the biggest one. It's a jack of all trades, pretty much, if you have it modded the right way with the pilots having 6E and then also the right star count. So then we got that, and then I would say the next hot thing would be the Empire fleet with the new TIE Interceptor. Again, nobody right now will have this ship 7-star until the next conquest, but currently it is proving to be very, very strong, even at a 6-star or lower count. So that's the second hot one right now, and then that's for offenses. And then for defenses, let's say down the line that you can still counter the Executor with Finalizer. That's a big counter right there. And then let's say that the opponent sets Negotiator. Well, guess what? You have the Empire counter to that right now. And it's already there. And then plus you can just set the Executor team and the Negotiator team on defense if you wanted to. It's honestly the best trading of banners for trying to maximize the banners and also the best defenses you can. If you're not there, like I'm not quite there right now, I still like to ensure that I get max banners in fleet, so I just mirror match, and then I just, you know, use Negotiator or whoever else I need to get the other max banner win. But that's it right now, guys. That's the fleet meta for GAC, and you will definitely be seeing a lot more finalizers down the line. So stay on tune for, or stay on your toes for those fleets. I mean, there might be a comp out there that kind of slows it down or something, but honestly, right now, I don't see that happening. CG might change it, but currently, they're not. But it's a phenomenal fleet, guys. So that's it for right now for today's video. If you guys have any different questions or maybe some different comments on this, let me know down below in the comments. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out and have a good one. Bye, guys.